elect of Jah lion and lioness, traveling looking for a resting place. Distant travelers, traveling, seeking peace from their sorrow and ease from the pain, and they got nowhere to go. A resting place you are seeking, just traveling, traveling.
That's right, Mishpachah. Shalom, shalom, and happy Hanukkah, night number 2. Hallelujah. All praises. Greetings, family, in the name of our King, and welcome back again. As the song suggests, we are definitely travelers trying to find a resting place for ourselves in this diaspora, the world that is controlled right now by the Gentiles. And we ourselves are trying our very best to live within this society, a society that doesn't have much regard for the true way of our Elohim. Everybody's thinking that they are serving the Most High in righteousness, but as you saw last night, that's not always the case. And so tonight we will continue on with the theme of giving you all a different perspective about the influences of the Greek and the Romans and how it has impacted our lives. And the foundation of that is not what a lot of people think. And this gives reason and understanding to why our society have these issues. Okay. As Yeshua says that, remember Lot's wife. And he was referring to the last days. And Lot's wife was caught up in a system coming out from Sodom and Gomorrah to save her life, but she could not separate her mind. Her soul was connected to the death style of Sodom and Gomorrah. And so we got to break free from that. And the only way to do that is to be like Abraham. I will not touch not even a shoelace of the Sodomites. Y'all can have it. Y'all can have all of it. And isn't it interesting how the king of Sodom wanted the persons, the people? He wanted the people. Well. So welcome back again. I hope that everyone has had a wonderful day today. And we're looking forward to continuing with you all tonight. All right. So again, we're going to go as long as Brother Shea wants to go. The time that we set was 90 minutes, but we got to move according to the Ruach. So shalom and happy Hanukkah, Brother Shea.
Shalom, shalom, Mishpachah. Happy Feast of Dedication. Happy Hanukkah to the Mishpachah and to everyone this evening. Hope everyone is doing well. It's a bit a good opportunity again to be here to share with you all another point of view or understanding on this topic tonight. So hopefully we can learn some things tonight.
Hopefully. And if you have learned this before, it'll be a refresher for you. Shalom to the family worldwide in the Caribbean. Shalom to the family in South and Central America. Shalom in the United States, the divided states of America. Shalom across the border in Canada. Shalom, the UK. Shalom in Africa. Shalom in Europe, the Middle East, the Far East, and every island of the sea. We say shalom, shalom to each and every one of you. Shalom, Elder. How are you?
Oh, shalom, Brother Jonah. Shalom, I'm fine. Shalom, family.
Hallelujah.
All praises.
So with that said, Elder, go ahead and open up with a word of prayer so we can begin tonight's class. Hallelujah.
All praises to the Most High. Heavenly Father, we thank you again that spend our lives in the hours of the day. You take us out and you bring us back home safely. As we come tonight to refresh ourselves once again with your loving words, we ask in you, Father, to be in our hearts. We invite you in our life in the service tonight. We pray on the behalf of those that may not be well in their bodies. We ask you, Father, that thou may touch their bodies from the crown of their head to the sole of their feet, that they may be healed and they be able to be comfortable to receive and to hear the words and get all the blessings that they deserve. We thank you again for gathering all of us to the class tonight. We ask you to bless us, be with us. We ask you, Father, to be with our teacher, Brother Yana, Brother Oshe. We ask you to speak to them, through them, for them, and allow the words to come out fluently from their lips, the reading, the words, that all of us at the end of the service tonight will give you all the thanks and praise because we ask it through your Son, Yeshua, we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Hallelujah. Thank you so much, Elder. So, as you can see on the screen, Greek physique, from the gyms to the arenas. Brother Shay, what you got for the Mishpachah tonight?
Yes, Mishpachah, Greek physique, from the gyms to the arenas. It's another perspective of how our people are caught up in the, how would I say it, the assimilation of Greek culture. And one of the ways that we find ourselves entertaining others is through this process that they go through. So tonight we're going to look at the process of how our people get assimilated into this and how the Most High is telling us to come out of it. So we can go to our first slide. So tonight we will continue to expose the identity we find our peoples fallen victim to. Because every time you look around, we identify as other cultures. No one wants to identify as an Israelite because it's too boring, or it's as if you have a target on your back, you know? So the upbringing of us living like other nations and laying under their shadows, because for years and generations, we have been like the other nations. When we tell our children and people who they truly are, they find it very hard to believe and understand. And that's the problem we run into. You tell a brother or sister, hey, you are royal. You are an Israelite. For some, it's like, yeah, you know, this is a good thing. And you navigate and you make the necessary adjustments. But for others, it's like, nah, I'm a Jamaican. I'm an American. I'm this, I'm that. And they continue to identify with the other nations out there and cultures and customs. And for some who say, okay, yeah, I'm an Israelite because of the money. The money looks really, really good. You know, the enemy pays them very well. They would keep their mouth shut and they would say, yeah, I'm an Israelite, but I don't want to associate myself with that. So the brother's asking, who really am I? And when we ask ourselves that question, it's not only in words, but also in deeds. So we have to make sure we make those changes physically, as well as how we confess verbally outwards. We have to also do. So when we see people out there, and we have to be the example to the, you know, to the light, as that light coming into this dark world. So we go to the next slide now. So the future, Mishpachah, depends on you. Look at that picture right there. Who does that look like?
Samuel Jackson. And,
understanding our past should help us maneuver through the present. So when we look at the records of what we study throughout the years in the Bible, Apocrypha, so forth, it should give us a clear understanding of the things and the lifestyles, experiences, culture, everything. We should understand where we are coming from in the present now, so we can look towards the future. Now, what kind of future do you want to have? That's the question. Do you want to have a righteous future where we are actually living the Torah and experiencing that true righteousness? Because, you know, there's a scripture that says when the righteous in authority, the earth is what? At peace.
Yeah.
And we can all agree right now, I don't have to pull up the scripture, we can all agree the earth is not at peace. So that tells me the earth is not living in righteousness.
No.
So, however, in our case, due to the position of our parents, that our parents left us in, because our forefathers, they sinned, we understand this. And from the beginning, we either love our oppressors. This is the problem we face. We have some that love the oppressors. You call it what? Stockholm syndrome, right? or they're comfortable because they're making that green dollar, just enough money so they can buy the cars, the shoes, the clothes, travel, have that lavish lifestyle. The same proposal the devil did to our Messiah. He took him up on a mountain, and he says, I will give you all of this.
All these things.
Not realizing the Messiah made all these things. It's like you buying something, and then your son turn around and tell you that I'll give you your house. It's my house. How are you going to tell me you give me my house? And this is what the devil does to us. He offers us things that are already ours in the future, Mishpachah. We just have to be patient to receive those. So again, it's either we are oppressed and we find ourselves comfortable with where we find ourselves living in today. And we can look at Leviticus 26 and 20 and Deuteronomy 28. We don't have to go there. But it's just to say this is where the curses are found. You want to say something? Okay.
No, it's fine.
Move on. Okay, so these curses, Mishpachah, are real. Now I put together some statistics that we find online. So these curses are real. And in order to relive ourselves and heal as a nation, we need to get back to our heritage, which is what? Learning and obeying the Torah. So not only just learning, but obeying it. It says faith without works is what?
It's dead.
It's dead. So if you don't physically do things, there would not be any outcome of progression. It's like pond water moving uphill, or molasses.
Pond water moving uphill.
Yeah.
Okay.
So these statistics right here, it says, read that for me, the first one.
In 2022, infants born to Black women had the highest infant mortality rate. Mortality rate, in the United States at 10.90 per 1,000 live births.
You can blow it up if you need to.
Yeah. And then they show the same thing. American Indian and Alaska Native is 9.06.
So they're telling you that we are the highest of infant mortalities, the death rate. Okay. What's the next one there?
According to available data, African Americans have the highest incarceration rates among ethnic groups in the United States, with Black people being incarcerated at a significantly higher rate than white people, often at several times the rate dependent on the source.
So we again set the trend. We are the forerunners, or the ones on the top of the list for death as children, filling up the prison cells. What's the next one over here?
It says Black people have the highest divorce rates in the United States, with Black women having the highest divorce rate of any racial group.
That's sad. Why are we in these categories of negativity? Because the curses are real, Mishpachah. What's the next one?
According to recent census data, Black Americans generally have the highest poverty rate among major racial groups in the United States.
And the last one?
It says key points about HIV and Black African Americans. It says higher prevalence. Black African Americans have a significantly higher rate of HIV diagnosis compared to other groups, including white people.
So they would say, you are the minority. But if we're the smallest, according to what they say, how are we the most when it comes to everything negative?
Yeah, we're the majority with the curses and minority with the
blessings.
The blessings, yeah.
So the brother's like, wow, I can't believe this, because Mishpachah, we are not living up to the standard that the Most High has set for us. See, there's a standard. And if we can live up to that standard, we wouldn't be in the problems that we find ourselves in today.
I think also with the help of churchianity through the Greco-Roman world, they have put this ideology that we're suffering from the curse of Ham. And as a Hamite, we're supposed to serve. That's the curse. However, the Bible doesn't say that. It says the Canaanites, because Egypt is from Ham, and many other countries are also Hamite, right? Hamitic. So what the church does, they switch things up. They throw everything into the same basket. Egypt always seems to be white. even in their coloring books, in their movies, or whatever the case may be. So they will never equate people of color as being in charge of any civilization, because the Greeks say that most of what they have learned, they got it from Egyptians.
Yeah.
Right. So if they have to get it from Egyptians and Egyptians have to be black, that doesn't look so good.
No.
So let's make all these people Hamites, including the people that came on the Deuteronomy 28 slave ships, Leviticus 26 slave ships. Let's make those people also Hamites. And Ashkenaz, who has never seen a slave ship, who has been in the southern Russian
district,
place and Europe and whatever, let us make those people the people of the book. So there you have it.
Yeah, Mishpachah. So when it comes to us healing as a nation, we have to apply what the Most High has instructed us from the beginning, to keep the law, statutes, and commandments. So how the Grecian influenced our people. Black students historically couldn't join traditional Greek organizations. So we talked about this in the previous class called Honoring the Gods. And as we go through some slides, you'll see I highlight some things on it. But our people want to assimilate so bad. They want to be part of the goat riding club.
Mm-hmm.
So they form their own.
Explain to the people what goat riding is.
The goat riding club is a club that is specially formulated for people who want to have a compass and a square, and they want to be part of the brick lane society, and
just call it masonry.
The masonry. Yeah,
Masons.
And they find themselves calling up the Prince Hall and the Eastern Star, and that should show you so many red flags, because you can find no way in Torah for our people to follow this nonsense. So again, we want to be the elite. We want to follow the upper class, those that went to Harvard and Yale and all these different places.
Skull and bones.
And follow what they do. So here we see in the colleges, when they come out of high school and they join these colleges, they go into sororities and the, what's the other one? Fraternities. Yeah. So sororities and fraternities, the male and the female side to it. So the Greek organizations, due to racial segregation, they created their own Black Greek letter organization. So just like what we're going to read about tonight, and what we talked about last night, we can do our own thing, just to assimilate, known as the Divine Nine. Now you can look up that some more to kind of get an understanding, but this is some of the alphabet groups that they have here, which allow them to form sororities and fraternities specifically for Black students in historical Black colleges and universities, which is the HBCUS, and later at predominantly white institutions, PWIS, as well. So I don't have to read too much on that, but just to show you, we want to be like the Greeks so bad that we formed our own stuff.
What's interesting about some of these fraternities, that dance that they have, what is it, stomp or stomping or something?
The different stomping, yeah.
Is that what it's called? Isn't that supposed to be like an African thing? So why are you? That's pretty heavily done as part of the display of their sorority, fraternity, or whatever the case may be, with the competitions and stuff. But that don't make any sense. You're supposed to be Greek. Do Greek dances. Why are you doing the other type of dances? Don't make any sense.
It's just confusion. That's let's see what it is. Okay. So 2 Maccabees chapter 6 verses 1 and 2. We're going to start to get into it and kind of break it down and highlight some things.
The Bible says, not long after this, the king sent an old man of Athens to compel the Jews to depart from the laws of their fathers and not to live after the laws of Elohim.
So this compelling is a key point of trying to win them over. And this is what I call bribery. What they would do is they would bribe you by blackmailing, money, and other means, such as, okay, we'll allow you to have this, but you have to do this for us. And in order to get into this group, you have to do this.
Compromise.
You compromise your integrity, you compromise your heritage, your culture, everything that was before you. Compel that the Jews to depart from the laws of their father. And what does Proverbs 22:28 say?
Remove not the ancient landmark which your fathers have set.
So they understood this thing. They understood that from the beginning, our forefathers went through each captivity. And trust me, our people know the captivities that our people went through. The same way how today, a lot of people know that slavery happened here in America, and you had the cargo ships, and you had the lynching going on. Do you think that they would actually serve the Most High? Nope. They're doing the same foolishness and continuing the curses to continue. Verses 2.
And to pollute also the temple in Jerusalem, and to call it the temple of Jupiter Olympius, and that in Gerizim of Jupiter the defender of strangers, as they did desire that dwelt in that place.
So these men strategically, because like David said, that they have crafty counsel, and it's because by the way of the devil himself and his angels targets our people. So what he does is in every generation the spirit continues in these people, so they know exactly who to target and how to target. So they targeted to pollute the temple. They say, if we can destroy the place of worship, because that connection has to be severed. Like with Judith, she said, I think it's Judith 5, where it mentions if they continue to sin, we got them.
Yeah, the enemy was basically doing some reconnaissance, and they checked the history of our people.
History logs, yep.
And they realized that these people, they triumph when they serve the Most High, and when they turn against the Most High, it doesn't go too well with them.
And if they keep the laws, we can't touch them. They're untouchable. So they understood this. So it says, we're going to attack the temple. Nothing different today, Mishpachah. That's why the churches, every church that you know of today, I would say 99.9, because there's probably that 1% that try their best. They remove the laws. And removing the laws is no different to what we're going to see here tonight.
Either they want to remove the laws, or what they would do is they'll just do part of the laws, which like is Adventists,
which is compromising.
Yeah.
So they pollute also the temple in Jerusalem, and to call it the temple of Jupiter. So it's called the renaming. We've seen this time after time, and I find it very interesting. Olympus. This is where the gods of the pagans are recognized and honored. Okay. So when it talks about strangers represent the heathen Gentiles. This is who they're talking about. People who were not allowed into the temple. Like you mentioned last night, where it was written on there, no Greek or stranger can come into the temple. You have to be of the seed. And they understood this. Psalms 49, verse 11.
Their inward thought is that their houses shall continue forever, and their dwelling places to all generations. They call their lands after their own names.
Do you see Moses saying, this is the land of Moses?
No.
Abraham said, I'm going to call this the land of Abraham. Jacob said, I'm going to call this the land of Jacob. We never name anything after ourselves, Mishpachah. It was a practice of these heathens to do so, because in their mind, by doing that, it carries on their legacy, like they would put it.
Yep.
But we name things according to the event that happened, and it had a real meaning behind of it. I'm wrestling with this person, so I'm going to call it this.
And when we do that, we will give the honor to the Most High. We didn't go out like Samson defeated the Philistines. This is Samson Street. Samson Boulevard.
Yeah.
We didn't do that kind of stuff. It was giving honor to the Most High.
And that's the key. We always point the honor back to the Most High. Just same how Yeshua came on the scene. He says, the glory belongs to the Father.
That's right.
Because he's setting the example to say, even though I created you, I still respect my Father. He created me. And that's how the order of things go. But we don't see that. We want to follow the heathen, and we want to name things after our own self. Like all our young brothers in different cities all over the country, and even overseas in Europe, Canada, in Africa too, down in South America, in the islands. We always want to run some block and own a block. This is my hood. This is my block, my streets.
You know what's interesting about what you're saying? We find some of that same type of pride. I would call it pride, where you always want to gain the attention or to be seen. Your face got to be everywhere. Your name got to be everywhere. You find out even among Hebrew Israelites. Whereas when they're doing teachings, it's always their face. It's always their face. It's always their face on attached to every class. You know, why don't you just put the class out there?
That's it.
And put the smallest picture of yourself, like we do, in a little corner, so people can focus on the class. You know how many times people say, "Hey, brother, you know, why can't we see all?" No, you don't need to see all of me. You just need to see the class.
They hear your voice, and they fall asleep to your voice.
Yeah.
So they want to see your face, so they can smile.
No. They need to focus on, they need to think about our Elohim. So yeah, we see these things, and that is also part of that Greek spirit.
2 Maccabees chapter 6, verses 3 to verses 5.
The coming in of this mischief was sore and grievous to the people.
So it would vex the spirit. It would vex my spirit just to even think about these things sometimes. You know, imagine you have your home clean, and you have some dirty, nasty person coming up in there with their shoes and, with themselves just filthy. That would piss you off. So imagine coming to the place where it's dedicated to the Most High. You think during Moses' days that could happen?
No. The Most High was very, very clear. He says, I don't even want to see doo-doo when I come through to meet with you all. Make sure you get a little shovel, go out away from outside the camp and take care of your business. The place have to be kept clean. As a matter of fact, he says any animal that come on this mountainside have to be shot through with a dart, have to be killed.
Yep.
Okay, removed, because the place was supposed to be holy.
Clean, meaning set apart from anything that would bring sickness or death. Continue.
It says, for the temple was filled with riot and reveling by the Gentiles, who dallied with harlots and had to do with women within the circuit of the holy places, and besides that, brought in things that were not lawful.
And we're going to talk about that some more, because you mentioned you want to bring something on the temple prostitutes and stuff. And I touched a little bit on it tonight in a couple slides coming up. But these people understood exactly how to influence, because the records are there. They know from the beginning, the devil he breaks the order, and he went straight to who? He went straight to Eve. The same thing they'll do here. He used Delilah against Samson, and the list goes on. So what he's going to do, he's going to bring in who? Women.
You're having the women, introducing the women into this thing is where you have that turning point of, and we'll talk about it too, Mishpachah, but remember in previous classes, if you understand how the temple was designed, there was a court of the women. They couldn't go, and that was a court for both the women and the Gentiles. So anyone that was non-Israelite, they can go to a certain distance within the temple courtyard. And then from there on, there was for the priests and others to go forward. And if they transgressed that, they would be eliminated from this thing. So we had very, very strict laws preserving it.
So they brought in things that were unlawful. So you ask yourself, what could that possibly be? You go through the text, you go through everything, you understand what would be unlawful. And we understand it was what? Bringing in swine's flesh, bringing in the prostitution, different monies, idols that were set up on altars, and so forth.
Verses 5 says, the altar also was filled with profane things, which the law forbiddeth.
So they understood it's against the law, but guess what? We don't care. We're going to set up Christmas trees. We're going to have barbecues with nice pork sandwiches, pulled pork sandwiches. We're going to have big statues of, whoever you want to have up there, posters and everything. We're going to sing and dance nude and party and do whatever we want to do because it's a free country. It's free for all. And this is the idea that they have. Now, you see the picture over here with that's painted on the vases. This is them slaughtering a pig on the altar. These were the Greeks that, or I should say our people that became Greeks, Gentiles, that took upon themselves to offer these things. This is what you consider the mac and cheese, brother.
Yeah.
They know the law and they say, you know what? I'm gonna have my ham.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have some extra lard to cook that bacon in. So not only do they have the pig, but they have the extra. And that thing is stinking up the whole place.
Yeah, that same brother, I think he did like a Thanksgiving meal, and it was so disgraceful, and he did the same thing again. The table was dressed with all the unclean things, and he was happy about it, and he don't care what people have to say. And this is how he tries to gain attention to himself, draw attention to himself.
Yeah.
He wants to provoke. Now imagine, would our king, partake in such a thing? No, he wouldn't, right? So if he has us, he's preserving us to keep his laws, statutes, commandments, and he's telling us to talk to this brother, and the brother's not listening to us. It's as if he is spitting in the face of our king.
Yeah.
Because if the messengers go out in the name of the king, and you mistreat the messengers, you're doing the same thing to our king.
Yeah, that's just a demonic spirit that has taken over this person. The same spirit that took Saul when Saul rebelled. It's the same spirit of witchcraft, because not only that he understand that the Most High don't deal in things like that, but the judgment and punishment that will come upon him, he knows, and that's going to be against him. Just put it that way, against him in judgment.
Couple things also. Keep in mind, our Elohim says that we are supposed to utilize a lamb. Sometimes we use goats if you have it, but lambs, right? What does the Gentiles push? Ham. We have Passover, they have Esther.
Yeah.
Easter. Okay?
Yep.
All right.
So everything, Mr. Mishpachah, starts with food. When it comes to our people, we love to have barbecues. We love to party. We love to drink and have a good time. We love to eat. And the enemy understands this. So he uses these tactics to influence our people in many forms. Because sometimes, you come from broken homes. You don't have the means to have access to a lot of things. So the enemy persuades you. And they would say, we'll give you this because you don't have it, but you have to come do this for us. And we gain fame through entertainment, music, sports, and other things to come out of the hood. And this is how the enemy uses it against us. So he always starts with food and music. Read that for me. In Athens,
the legendary lawmaker Solon is credited with having created state brothels with regulated prices.
So they created these homes where you can go get the boom boom going, the boom boom room. Go ahead.
Prostitution involved both sexes differently. Women of all ages and young men were prostitutes for a predominantly male clientele.
So you have the sodomite agenda full blown in there. And these people love to do that. Through history, you can see through history. This is not the first time we talk about this, but you can go on YouTube and you can go on Wikipedia. You can search the internet, go in encyclopedias, and you'll always see that these nations always had that spirit built within them because the Most High put that spirit there for them. And we weren't supposed to be running after that. We were supposed to be opposite of that. But because of that, he gave us up to the strong delusion of wickedness. temple prostitution in Corinth. So this is one example. And when you bring up the class later on, there'll be more to it, but read that for me.
In 464 BC, a man named Xenophon, a citizen of Corinth, who was an acclaimed runner and winner of the pentathlon,
Yeah.
at the Olympic Games, dedicated 100 young girls to the temple of the goddess as a sign of thanksgiving.
So you have these games, and we're going to get into the activities that happen at these games. And he became the winner. So he's donating some of his proceeds of winning, which was young women, to this to this forum. And our people, like when you go to New Testament, you see Paul and Peter and the disciples. They went to these places. They went to Corinth, they went to Rome, they went to Galatia and Ephesus and different places to find our people, to bring them out of this lifestyle. This is what the disciples were sent to do, to bring our people out of this lifestyle. And this is one of the places that they had the temple prostitutions full blown. Continue.
We know this because of a hymn which Pindar was commissioned to write, fragment 122 Snell, celebrating, quote, the very welcoming girls, servants of Pythio, and luxurious Corinth.
So they had these women that would come in, young girls that would come in, and they would reward them to these winners. Same thing, that they do that through all the different sports entertainments back in the day. Things change now to some degree, but even some of the athletes today, they would set things up with athletes that are supposedly single to have call girls available for them.
Yeah, that's a very good point. I think in a modern sense, when they win a game, they would go to the club.
Yeah.
And they will have strippers and you name it, all types of different things happen, and food and all that stuff. It's nothing has changed, family. Nothing has changed. And I'm sure all of y'all, well, most of y'all are familiar with that. Most of these athletes, whether it's football, basketball, whatever, it's well known. When they win, they would go either to the clubs or they would have a special party at a penthouse suite invitation by someone. And the prostitutes, the call girls will show up, and even some of the guys will show up in there because they will mix it up. And some of those guys were actually sodomites, and
there's a lot of to say rumors, but a lot of things going around talking about certain athletes, males, prostituting with other males.
Yeah.
In the background, coaches mixing with the players and different things like that. And they put the rules out that says you can do whatever you want, but don't mix in-house. That's what I always say. And we see one of the coaches got fired from one of the teams for sleeping with the managers or the owner's wife. So they fired the coach, and he got hired by another team to be the coach.
Wow.
And there's a whole bunch of stuff going on back and forth. This was from the Boston Celtics and the Houston Rockets. So he left the Boston Celtics and went to the Houston Rockets, and he was dating Nia Long at the time. I forgot what his name is.
I see. Okay.
But he got fired for sleeping with the owner's wife, and he got hired on another team. But this stuff goes on, and you have players that are out there. Yeah, Imu Udoku, that's his name. And you have other players like Dwight Howard and these other players that are down low brothers.
Yeah.
Shaquille O'Neal, all these brothers, they play a feminine part in it. So how to get to the Greek god Physique? This is where we're going to look at the gyms now, okay? Because this is what they focus on. The outward appearance, the amenities that are there, the rewards, the accolades, all these things that they focus on. Let's look at the god Zeus, because from the class, and you can go on Rumble, this is the one I was talking about, honoring the gods, how the sororities and different things with the Olympics all pay homage to this god here, pagan god Zeus. Let's read the first one up there first.
The Jesus means Hail Zeus theory. Okay, by doing this, they argue that Christianity lost its Hebrew roots and merged with paganism.
I find that very interesting because we was talking about that last night, how they took our stuff, knowing that it was with keeping the laws, statutes, and commandments, and it was something fluid. And then you bring this Greek culture in, and then you have this confusion that you see happening throughout the so-called New Testament, where people are trying to influence this, like you talked about last night, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you see how we lost the essence and the roots of translating certain things, because, like you said, where they want us to translate and become like them instead of them becoming like us. It's not that way, it's the other way around. So we see here that they merged Christianity and it became something paganism.
All right. It says to support this their theory, proponents point out that the second syllable of Jesus, which is sus, sounds similar to the name of the chief Greek god Zeus.
And this is all in translation, like you mentioned last night. Joshua was later named Jason and so forth, because they're translating into different things. People have the different understandings of that in translating. Now, the god Zeus.
The ancient Olympic Games, held every 4 years at Olympia in honor of the god Zeus, were celebrated for over a millennium and served as the inspiration for the modern competition.
So they still do it, Mishpachah. So every time there is this Olympics that happen every 4 years, it's an honor to this god, this deity, this pagan demonic force that they're paying homage to. And not only do they do that, but they do it in every arena by singing certain things before the game, saluting certain things before the games, and paying homage to these other gods that are there. So you see the family of Zeus, the tree. I don't know who's familiar with this, but this is all Greek theology or Greek god.
Pantheonism. Pantheon.
The pantheons of the Greek gods. And this is the one in the middle is who we're talking about. And then down to the bottom is the Dionysus. Let's go to the next slide, because we can talk about that briefly.
Hermes. There goes Hermes.
Remember the Olympics that just happened, they had the big sodomite thing that they put out, right?
This right here.
On the right side picture. The left side picture is what they were imitating. Nothing different. Now, the difference is the men back there look like women and the women look like men. Today, they make it more colorful because they're trying to be bold and right in your face. They want to express it right in your face. So Dionysus
and the Feast of Gods from the Paris Olympics opening ceremony in 2024.
And when you go back to the previous slide. See her right down here?
Yeah, that's a dude.
Yeah.
Right here in the bottom.
At the bottom.
This is a dude right
bottom
here.
Let
me get the little tool. Let me get the little marker tool. This is the one right here. See it? Yeah, that's a dude.
And they were celebrating in honor of that. So they pick a god every 4 years and honor that god during the Olympics. But it started with Zeus. And if you go back to the different Olympics, they'll tell you who to honor next. All right, exercise and working out. So exercising and working out is not the issue we're referring to in this class. So we're not talking about you can't go out and physically get your body in shape by doing physical work, losing weight, eating healthy, exercise, and those things. We're not talking about that. What we're referring to is how these people do their practicing of lewd sexual immorality and the normality of what was being done at and during these events is what we're discussing. So the way how they carry themselves, what they worship, what they did, everything was against the Torah. They was breaking every law you can think about. because it says you break one, you break all, right? And they understood this, so they were pushing it even more. So it's one thing to say you shouldn't work out or become fit, because we're not telling Hebrews to be unfit. We're not saying that.
Jelly bellies.
When we say fit, we're talking about healthy and able to function under any circumstance. So some people may have a little more extra weight on them. Some people may be slim as a stick, and you're healthy that way, or you're healthy if you have a little more weight on you, regardless of what level you're in. We're talking about you're not breathing excessively, sweating. You can't walk 5 feet. You can't lift up certain things, for your age. You can't perform just normal things in life. If emergency occurs, you can't run from point A to point B. If you have to dig a hole to plant a seed, you can't do that. Just being physical, being fit. This is what we're referring to. But what they're talking about is the reasoning behind the workout. And there's something called a gym rat. You ever heard of a gym rat?
No.
Mishpachah in the chat. You ever heard of a gym rat? Let's look it up. Pull to the side and look up what a gym rat is.
All right. Rat.
Yeah.
All one words.
I have to read that.
A gym rat is a person who spends a lot of time exercising at the gym or health spa.
So you're there all day, all night. You spend 5-6 hours at the gym, flexing and working out, right? You drink all the protein shakes. You have all the latest fashion that goes with the different gym outfits. You know what I'm saying? Every person that comes in and comes out of there. You say, didn't I just see you there this morning?
You don't refer to things as an arm. It says glutes. Use all the Greek words, huh? All the Greek words.
So it's a person, or it's a male or female that spends their time trying to change themselves because they are addicted to how they look.
Let's find out. Is there any gym rats in the room? Just put a 1. Are you obsessed with your look in the gym and all that stuff? Put a 1.
And you can tell now, if you go on some Hebrews profiles.
Your brother Yohanan, you're one of them?
If you look at some people's profiles, they have pictures of them, just all over.
Profiles. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Now, I'm not saying you can have a routine to get up in the morning, ride your bike for 5 miles, come back and then you start your day, or you get out and you do your walk or something like that. I'm not talking about us being fit, Mishpachah. I'm talking about people who are obsessed.
Yeah.
Obsessed.
There are a few heathen that were so obsessed that they got their body sculptured by going and having surgery, all the fat removed, and the muscles trimmed.
Competition bodybuilding styles.
Then they had things put in there to make the chest look buff, and it's just crazy.
It goes to the extreme that you study I know a guy who knew every single muscle by name in the book. So he would go by and he says, look at this muscle. He would flex it a certain way and it pops out. And then he'll do this one and he'll name it pop out. I was like, who cares about that?
A lot of sisters would like that. A lot of sisters would like to have a husband around them who just flexing, up and down, up and down.
What's that brother? What's that brother that played in White Chick, the movie White Chicks? I forgot his name. Let me see who in the chat room I'm talking about.
White Chicks.
And then what he does is
Marlon.
No, not the Marlon Wayne. I'm talking about him. Terry Crews.
I think he's a sodomite.
Yeah, he's probably a sodomite. But in all his videos, he's always flexing his plexus. His plexus be dancing. So he look at you, he wink at you, and he smile. Sisters, put a 1 if you want a brother like that.
Some sisters like that thing. That Greek.
You got one sister says she want a brother like that.
Yeah, Sister Seneca, she like that. All right, sis. Well, hey, knock yourself out. Knock yourself out.
Let's look at the gymnasium.
Gymnasium is ancient Greek, Romanized. In ancient Greece, functioned as a training facility for competitors in public games.
So it was designed to always have some competitive spirit in you. This is why when we're going to transition to the class of the philosophy side of it, we're going to understand that spirit travels. We're going to see it connects right here. Continue reading.
It was also a place for socializing and engaging in intellectual pursuits.
Debating. This is where that spirit comes in, because you leave from the gym in a competitive spirit and you come into the temple with a competitive spirit. And that spirit is always there wanting to fight. And who brother can debate the best, and who can have the longest speech and talk about the extra and the icy.
Yeah, that's the brain muscle. Brain muscle.
So we see where it started here. Continue.
The name comes from the ancient Greek term gymnos, meaning naked or nude. Only adult male citizens were allowed to use gymnasia.
So why would you want to go to the gym?
Which is not true, because we saw how they would have the young.
Well, the females were there.
No. What I'm saying is young boys. So
later on, the young boys were added, and it tells you that they were added and trained.
Yes.
To start influencing. But originally it was designed for these males to compete. But why would you want to go up to a place where there's only naked men there?
Makes no sense. It continues to say athletes competed nude. A practice which was said to encourage aesthetic appreciation of the male body and to be a tribute to the gods.
See? So you're doing this in the name of the gods. Imagine putting on a TV, and I'm sure this would happen.
It's idolatry.
Soon.
It's basically living idolatry. You become an idol.
Imagine putting on a TV, and you're looking at the sports happening, and everybody's naked. That's basically what will be taking place again soon. And I'll show you some pictures where once upon a time there was fully clothed, and now today they basically have nothing on. Because they're going back to that
to the roots,
right to the roots of the origin. And you see in the picture over here, people walking around half naked.
No. Gymnasia and palastrae wrestling schools were under the protection and patronage of Hermes, and in Athens, Theseus.
And these were the same. Go back to the slides with these gods again. Right here. So it says Athens, Hermes,
and another one. There are a lot more.
There's more.
And some of them have it's the same person
with a different name.
What a different name. Yeah. Imagine guys running around with ivy leaves wrapped around between the crack. Bunch of dead vines. No.
Nastiness, Mishpachah. The YMCA. We talked about that song last night. Read this for me. The Young Men Association.
The Young Men's Christian. The Young Men's Christian Association.
Now, this is what YMCA stands for.
They didn't know it was Christian, didn't they?
No. Continue.
Now you know. All right, it says a brief history of the YM Christian Association movement. The Young Men's Christian Association was founded in London, England on June 6, 1844, in response to unhealthy social conditions arising in the big cities at the end of the Industrial Revolution, roughly 1750 to 1850.
So this is the origin, right?
Now, one point I want to make out, right, is in 1844, can y'all remember a special group of people who also set up things about health and staying away from meats and sunbathing? We talked about it before. Y'all remember that? The who? The Seventh-day Adventurists. Adventurists, okay?
So notice, Mr. Picard, this started as a Christian thing. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So the question I ask is this a place of exercise or a place of hookup? That's the question. Read the other one over there.
By the early 20th century, the YMCAs had become popular havens for men who sought sex with other men.
Oh boy. So you found that these places were only designed for these things, Mr. Picard. So they will come out and these men will go purposely over there to mingle, to look for hookups. So they'll say, yeah, I'm exercising, I'm flexing the pecs. How you doing, brother? How you doing?
Yeah. And exchanging numbers, right? And can I, you mind if I hold the weights for you? Oh, just rub some oil here in my back for me. All kinds of stuff, man.
Yes, Mr. Picard.
Let me hold the thing. Wow, you're looking good, brother. You're looking good. You work out here all the time? Yeah, I work out here. What time? Okay, can you spot me a few times?
That's where the spotting comes from.
Spot.
Yeah, so when you're lifting weights, somebody's standing over you with the dingling over you and they're holding the weights while you looking up.
No. He must says a frog.
The frog?
He must says
the frog, yeah.
The frog. The frog.
That's what these brothers would do. Who wants some funky old dude standing over you? You're lifting and somebody over you standing 1, 2
with the frog right
with the
there.
Frog, yeah. So, Mr. Picard, this is read that again. By the early
20th century, the Young Men's Christian Association had become popular havens for men who sought sex with other men.
And that's what it is.
You want me to read on?
Yes.
The middle-class Protestant founders of the YMCA sought to provide a buffer between young men away from home for the first time and the dangers of the city.
So you think you're going to someplace safe, but you're going right into the doors of Sodom.
It's crazy.
And the brother's looking like, wow.
Yeah.
So look at this picture here, Mishpachah, and we're going to open up that in a minute. But look at this picture. You see over here, this is back in the day.
You used to have head covering and
skirts
and dressed a certain way.
You know, you're covered. Then it fashioned down to 70s and 80s.
Yeah, leotards,
socks and stuff. And then it went up to the 90s and 2000. And now this is where we are today.
Buttock prints and all kinds of stuff.
And they have these so-called workout pants that have designed padded areas that extend the buttocks out more.
Let me get the little tool.
And you ask yourself, why do these women wear these things at the gym?
Like this one right here.
And it imprints every single thing. Sisters and brothers, have y'all experienced this in the chat?
Next thing you know, you have a sister next to you. Her name is Hercules. She got more muscle than you, bro. What are you gonna do? Hey, you, husband, come here, sit here, kiss me. I said, kiss me, boy. Come here. Elder, what are you gonna do about that?
You don't want a strong sister, really?
We have it tougher already. We don't need any more tough chickens.
All right, let's look at Wikipedia.
All right.
And see what this has to say. All right, so this is the gymnasium here we was talking about. This is the place. Open it bigger, yeah. And this is someone was reading. Let's scroll down. Let's look at the keep going down. Okay, organization. So let's just read this first one here.
All right, organization. The gymnasium was formed as a public institution where young men received training in physical exercises.
See, so it started off as a place where the old men was, and then they say, okay, let's bring in the younger ones now. And by doing so, you have access, plenty of access to the young men. Go ahead.
The supervision of the gymnasiums was entrusted to gymnasiarchs, who were public officials responsible for the conduct of sports and games at public festivals and who directed the schools and supervised the competitors. The gymnasti were the teachers, coaches, and trainers of the athletes. The Greek gymnasiums also held lectures and discussions on philosophy. There you go. Literature and music.
And this is where we're going to transition to later, talking about they start in the gym and then they end up in the temples, synagogues, places of worship, competing, like you said, the muscle of the brain.
And music, and there were public libraries nearby.
All right, let's jump down. Let's see. Yeah, right here.
All right, historical development. The ancient Greek gymnasium soon became a place for more than exercise and training.
See, so there you had a place, you're supposed to be working out, but it became a place more than exercise and training.
This development arose through recognition by the Greeks of the strong relation between athletics, education, and health.
So now they're going to say, okay, we're going to make these people not only our playthings, but we're going to educate them, and we're going to make them so this trend continues throughout the legacy of what we're trying to do here. Jump down to this one here.
All right. As pupils grew older, informal conversations with other forms of social activity took the place of institutional systematic discipline. Since the gymnasia were favorite resorts of youth, they were frequented by teachers, especially philosophers.
So now you're going to indoctrinate them even more. So these young men would idolize. Like we all grew up watching wrestling and kung fu and sports and different things. You're like, oh, I want to be like Michael Jordan. I want to be like Mike. You know,
I think this is where you have you see a phenomenon now on social media where you have so-called life coaches, guys who actually are coaches, you know, going out there and, you know, playing game or training people and stuff, but they also come on YouTube and they have these lectures about, you know, the manosphere, about being men and things of that nature. Coaches.
Okay, let's go down, see if I need anything else from there. Construction, okay.
All right, construction.
Yeah, let's read that one and then we'll move on.
Gymnasia were typically large structures containing spaces for each type of exercise, as well as a stadium, palestria, we talked about it last night, baths, outer porticos for practice in bad weather, and covered porticos where philosophers and other men of letters gave public lectures and held disputations.
So they had the debates there. So they had a debate club that was there. So when you finish working out, you get lathered with some oil, and you go and you take a nice bath with, you know, and we're going to show some things on that too, with the open bays. And then when you finish that, you sit down and get lectured with philosophy, with Hermes and herpes and all these P's.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on.
There goes a gymnopedia. It shows you the guys in Greek doing the Batman dance right here. Y'all see that?
Can't make this stuff up, Mr. Carr. You can't make this stuff up.
Batman dance.
Ella said disgusting.
Look at that nonsense. All right.
So you see how the transition happened. Okay, 2 Maccabees 4, verses 7, and then verses 9.
But after the death of Seleucus, when Antiochus called Epiphanes took the kingdom, Jason, which is Joshua, the brother of Onias, labored underhand to be high priest.
So they use these tactics I put over here to hold that position. So now you're going to be blackmailing, using unjust weights and measures to get in these positions because the priest is an important part of our culture, and they understood this. So if they can get into that position, they can now influence others that are coming up. And this is where we have so much problems in the churches today, because everyone go to school of theology, and now you're influencing the youth coming up. And I'll have all types of crazy things going on in the church.
Verses 9, besides this, he promised to assign 150 more.
So you want to bring in more of these bastard pastors, or like you said, pastor, right?
Pasta. if he might have license to set him up a place for exercise.
So you come out of the synagogue and you go right into the place of exercising.
And for the training up of youth in the fashions of the heathen, and to write them to Jerusalem by the name of Antiochans.
And Proverbs 22 says what?
Now, real quick, when it says to have the youth in the fashions of the heathen and to write them of name of Jerusalem by the name of Antiochans, that's basically like team spirit, where you got the name of a team, and now you're known as, hey, I'm the dog, like the Bulldogs, or the Jets, or whatever the case may be. A mascot,
team mascots,
yeah,
and your name has now changed. So instead of being LeBron James, your name is King James, or you're the GOAT, or whatever. Come up with these different slogans to like you said, to build that team spirit. Okay. Train up the child. Go ahead.
Train up a child in the way he should go, and when he's old, he will not depart from it.
So they understand that when we train up our children in righteousness, they would not turn away from the Most High, because they understand protocols. So what they do is they go towards the youth now and influence them and train them up in their own ways.
One of the things that I noticed about some of the upper class, the middle class and upper class, was that this was part of being an upper class, to be part of the gymnasium and things of that nature, right? What do we find the equivalency of that today? We find what you call a soccer mom, or, the parent who has the child, sign up for pretty much everything. Sports. I gotta take my son at 3:00 for sports. They're gonna take them for doing bow and arrow exercises.
Yeah.
Then poetry, and like the child has no life, no time to just be a child and to think. And it's going from school to all of these programs. And all the parent is doing is just chaperone, just dropping a child off here and there, and whatnot. That's not the way, Mishpachah. Okay, children need the opportunity to just be themselves, right?
To grow and develop.
But amongst these Greek people, this is how they feel that you can get closer to the gods.
Yep. So they brought up our people. It says place for exercise and for the training. Go back 1 second. Sorry. For the training up of the youth in the fashions of the heathen. You can move on now. So they're doing this to fashion themselves like the heathen. Okay. Verses 10 and verse 11.
It reads, which when the king had granted, he had gotten into his hand the rule, he forthwith brought his own nation to Greekish fashion.
So there's if you look at something, Mishpachah, you can find where the entire world has been Hellenized by the Greek fashion. It is says that when Alexander, I think I have it in here too, Alexander the Great, I do have it in here, conquered, he made sure the culture went to all these places to be influenced. So when you look around, everything has a taste of Greek in it, okay? Verse 11.
And the royal privileges granted of special favor to the Jews by the means of John, the father of Eupolemus, who went ambassador to Rome for amity and aid. He took away and putting down the governments which were according to the law, he brought up new customs against the law.
So here you have this person who knows the laws. He went there willfully. This is what you would call your politician.
Yeah.
He would go there to the Senate and different things and change the laws, the bylaws, and different, bring it back and says, we can do something different now because we used to do this. We're not going to do this anymore. So now we're going to allow all these different things to occur. So, and putting down the governments which were according to the law. So, like it says, remove not the ancient landmark. What we have learned coming out of Egypt all the way to where we are today, the Most High's words has not changed. But every government we find ourselves in, these things have adapted, these things have changed to it. So he brought up new customs against the law. It's always against the law.
Absolutely.
And you see the different companies here that all fall under the Greek fashion or the Greekish fashion.
Yeah. Fitness, Planet Fitness, Equinox, Crunch.
And there's more. There's lots more.
Gold's Gym. And everybody's trying to get this type of Greek body right here. Yeah.
You need to flex for the Mishpachah one day, right? It's like, who? Flex for them.
Who? Grab the microphone.
Shalom, everybody.
Shalom.
So it's you know what, it's wild because what many don't understand is it's kind of easy to get that physique. All you got to do is eat whole foods and stay, you know what I mean, stay active.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's not about getting that physique, because 9 times out of 10 these people trying to, you know, look bulky, and it's just all superficial. You know, but when you have something that you're actually working out for, so like firefighters, they work out for a certain, you know what I mean?
There was a guy who I believe he's Hebrew, who was like one of the biggest dudes in the block. I mean, he lifts weights until it's just nothing but massive muscle. And he ended up getting a lot of problems in his body, lifting weights, his spine, and he just turned to jelly, basically. But yet, with all the pain, he was so obsessed. I don't remember the name. Ronnie Coleman, I think that's his name. Ronnie Coleman, that he became almost like a cripple.
But not only that, too, just like Brother Zephaniah just mentioned, you eat healthy and you work within your means, you're going to stay fit. It's not about the looks. I mean, of course, nobody wants to look obese or out of shape, but don't go by what the media has painted for you to look good, because again, they put things out there for people and say, this is how you're supposed to look. No, Mishpachah, that's how the heathen's supposed to look. We're supposed to look different from the heathen, and that's him right there.
Look at him. So you start off looking like this, and then you end up looking like this right here. Brothers, is that see, a lot of times you have to understand that nature knows when the sun is going to set.
Pull up that one there.
Right? You're going to know when the sun is going to set. The Bible puts a clock in you, right? So you might have the strength when you're young, youthful, to go up doing this thing, but at some point in time, you're not able to lift those irons anymore. And your body's going to start to deteriorate and break down. And then all that muscle is going to turn to what? Fat.
Look at this person with the glutes.
Yeah. Basically, he's just showing every single piece of muscle in his body.
Because people have all these competitions to take away all the fat in their body, just want to show straight muscle. And I remember this guy years ago, he said, the gorillas, the cows, these animals, they just eat what they're supposed to eat, and they're physically fit. And you see people go to the gym 24/7, protein this, protein that, just to get to the place where they want to be. But what is your reason behind of it?
Look at his legs. When he walks like...
Looks terrible.
He looks terrible.
Yeah.
He can barely walk. And he's always in constant pain. And he says, he just got to do it. He just got to do it. He's obsessed with this thing. Look how he's walking. He goes to the gym, he lifts weight, and he walks out like this.
Tensing up all that time.
Yeah. Mess up your spine.
Look at him.
Look at Arnold too. Remember, look how old Arnold looked. Vanity, and all of this is vanity according to Solomon. Okay, let's move on now.
It looks like a gorilla with no legs. Just
heavy on top, small on the bottom.
Little legs. All right, let's move on.
Verses 2 Maccabees 4, verses 12 and verse 13.
For he built gladly a place of exercise under the tower itself, and brought the chief young men under his subjection, and made them wear a hat.
So this same guy that we just talked about, that went and changed the laws and stuff, gladly, you know, like the person excited to sin, says, man, I can't wait to get this Greek culture started. I want to look just like these people. He gladly built a place of exercise under the tower itself, and brought the chief young men under his subjection. So the men that were coming up to be young priests, these young men were the men in temple training that was forced or converted to participate in pagan activities.
Yep.
because we had men training, those who want to learn temple service. Now that the pagan or the Grecian Empire has taken over, these men are now in training to do wickedness. He made them wear a hat. And I look up this hat. This hat has a lot of different things behind of it. But this is a Grecian Phrygian cap, usually identify its wearer as a foreigner. This is the originality of it in this case. So he would say, you wear this because you are not actually a person of Greek. Mm-hmm. You have converted over to the Greek custom. So you're going to start wearing this hat. So you were identified with this hat. Verses 13.
It says, now such was the height of Greek fashions.
So this is when it started. Like you said, everything has a starting point. Go ahead.
An increase of heathenish manners through the exceeding profaneness of Jason, that ungodly wretch and no high priest.
So this person brought in every wicked soul, just like the mac and cheese brother again. Let's have extra pork in here. Let's have the brightest lights that shine on the idols. We want to highlight Zeus behind of us. Yeah. Okay, men, I want you to make yourself comfortable with these little boys over here. Bring in those little girls over here, and let's sacrifice to these gods. Let's outdo the Greeks. Mm-hmm. I want to be more Greek than the Greeks, and that's what they were doing. All right, let's continue. The next slide.
All right, Phrygian cap.
So changing base. Who's familiar with this? Men in the chat, have you guys, even women too, have y'all experienced this in high school, colleges, sports, military career, whatever career field that you find yourself in? Mm-hmm. Put a 1 if you've experienced this. Put a 2 if you haven't. This is called a changing bay or the locker rooms. Okay, now let's read that.
In ancient Rome, the apoditerium, hope I pronounced it correctly, from ancient Greek, undressing room
so there's a room where you get naked. Go ahead.
Was the primary entry in the public baths.
So before you get into the bathroom, everybody stripped down in this one room.
Composed of a large changing room with cubicles or shelves where citizens could store clothing and other belongings while bathing. Mm-hmm. Meaning because the athletes undress in changing rooms called apoditoriums and trained naked, rubbing their bodies with olive oil, and then cleaning with the sturgill. Historically, the gymnasium was used for exercise, communal bathing, and later scholarly and philosophical pursuits.
So after you finish working out, you get some of Diddy's baby oil, and you rub yourself real good with it. You get nice and greasy. And then when you finish that, you come out and you get sit down and get all the extra Jesus and the icy Jesus taught to you. And the hermeneuticals and the Hermes and the herpes.
I got a question. LeBron James. He's a basketball player, right?
Yes.
Isn't his son also a basketball player too?
Yes.
Do they play for the same team or different teams?
Same team now.
The same team now, right?
Yeah.
So what happens when both of them go to the locker room? What does the scripture say? As a matter of fact, let's just go there to the scriptures. Let's see what the scriptures say about this. Let's get this gorilla dude out of the way. Let's go to Leviticus chapter 18. And let's see what the book says about this type of stuff, right? All right, we'll go down to verses 7. The nakedness of your father or the nakedness of your mother shall you not uncover. She is your mother. You shall not uncover her nakedness. Mm-hmm. It speaks about don't go to your near kin to uncover their nakedness. So if you are a father playing sports and both you and your son is attending the same locker room, right? What do you expect to happen but the uncovering of the body Okay, the Bible says that Shem and Japheth saw the wrong that Ham had done, and they took a covering, walked backwards, and covered their father who was naked. And so this is not something we should be doing, Mishpachah. This is madness. This is madness.
So the changing, a lot of us people in high school experience some of this same thing here. Going in these locker rooms, changing bays, and not you're not understanding anything. It's just a custom. You think that's normal. But as we're coming into this truth, Mr. Picard, we have to take our children away from these things.
But the military is also the same.
Same thing.
And you know what's funny about the military, right? We can see how it's also based on Greek formation and things of that nature, because we saw how the Greek is always dealing with little boys and things of that nature, right? What did it call the soldiers but infantry? Isn't infantry a word that comes from infant? Little ones. Why would you call them infantry? Who sends out little? Interesting. It makes no sense. But anyway, let's move on.
So open bay. Look at some of the pictures here. You go to the high schools. You go to the gyms. So if you have a gym membership, you will definitely see this. The locker room, changing bays, open bays, and you have the urinals in the bathrooms. The way how to design the bathrooms too. And especially in this day and age where you have the transformers amongst you, for the women, you go in there and you send your children to school, and you have men right in the bathroom with your little girls because they feel like they are a woman. So this spirit continues to destroy our people in many different forms and many different ways. Yes, Brother Zephaniah.
I actually heard that's one of the things that Trump's gonna get rid of as he gets into office is eliminating the whole transsexual thing in regards to crossing over with female sports and all that stuff. And if it starts there, Elohim, it just goes and trickles down into these situations and stuff like that. So.
Well, that's one side of the story. So he'll do one good thing on one side, and on the other side, something more wicked is gonna pop up.
And sometimes when they do those things, it's just to pave the way for something greater to happen later on, like a wave,
But the way that I look at it is you who set up Cyrus, and so at any time you could do that again, and Elohim willing, that's
yeah. Sometimes the Most High allows certain things to happen for a time, but then after things that start to fall apart, because it's part of the prophecy for that to happen.
All right, 2 Maccabees 4 verses 14 and 15.
That the priests had no courage to serve anymore at the altar.
You get discouraged because the place where you're supposed to serve the Most High, you're not serving the Most High. You're serving Hashatan, the devil, his demons, all these false gods. Go ahead.
But despising the temple and neglecting the sacrifices, because now it's boring, right?
Yeah.
Hasten to be partakers of the unlawful allowance in the place of exercise after the game of discus, call them forth.
So they were gladly taking up these positions again because for money and for fame. Oh, I'm going to make an extra buck. Before I wasn't getting paid what I want to get paid, or wasn't being taken care of or whatever it is. But to do this thing, I get more money.
We find a similar attitude where a lot of our people leave the church. Right, they'll leave the spiritual side of things for fame, right? And then when their souls is almost lost, they leave that behind. Look at Denzel. Just before he got that baptism, that so-called baptism in the pond, in the pool, he came out and confessed.
And he's kissing men.
Even when the producers say it didn't happen, but it really did happen, but they try to cover the whole thing up. Denzel came and says, yeah, it actually did happen. I did do so and so. When these guys almost lose their soul, they feel the need to go somewhere to get that religious affirmation.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they need to feel like if maybe the Most High is going to give me another chance or something, almost like King Saul when he knew he was wrong. Hey, Samuel, come and do a sacrifice with me. Let's give God something.
Yeah. Too late. Too late. All right, verse 15.
Not setting by the honors of their fathers, but liken the glory of the Grecians best of all.
So they step away from what was ordered and instructed and practiced by our forefathers. They say, I don't want to do this stuff no more, but liken. And McDonald's right here, I'm loving it. Read that for me. Starting in 1976.
Started in 1976, McDonald's took part in the International Olympic Committee's top sponsors program and committed nearly $1 billion every 4-year cycle up until the conclusion of their partnership in 2017.
And they still continue to promote a lot of these athletes coming up. You have the McDonald's sponsorship in the music industry. You see all the commercials that they get sponsored to advertise their food and stuff. But the motto for McDonald's is, I'm loving it. But these people enjoyed the glory of the Grecians best. And like I said before, they want to be better than the Greeks. You know, like this is a Greek man, but you as a Hebrew going to outshine a Greek and be more Greek than he is. You're going to be a Greeker. A Greek.
That's crazy. I just can't imagine people standing in front
naked like that.
An arena, glistening in the sun.
Baby oil.
It's crazy.
So fast forward today, these are the athletes that we see. These are the ones in the spotlight making the top dollars. Okay, you have Kevin Durant over here. And then you have Stephen Curry. He's supposed to be the best three-point shooter. You have Patrick Mahomes. He's now the face of the NFL. And what's his name over there?
Oh, you know the names pretty well.
I forgot the other name. But these are all the top athletes out there. And this is coming from where they were. They'll tell you the story of them coming from poverty. We were nothing. And then for some of them, their parents come from nothing. And then their parents were stars. And then their parents paved the way for them to be in that position today also. Lamar Jackson, yeah, that's right. Let's continue. We're almost finished, Mr. Carr. This is the Greek Freak. See him right here?
Greek Freak.
This is his nickname. Remember we just talked about, go back a couple slides. Let me find it again. Go back a couple slides back. Let's see. Keep going back. Let me see, wait, right here. Right here. And to write them of Jerusalem by the name of Antiochus. Remember you mentioned that, right?
Antiochus, yeah.
Okay, go forward now. So this is a nickname given to him. Change the name, and now he's known by this. He's known as the Greek Freak. Now let's go forward. All right, read that for me.
I don't remember the first time I heard about it. It was probably my rookie year, but I really don't know who came up with it, he said. I just went on the court one day and I had like a crazy dunk or a crazy block. And after that, everyone started calling me the Greek Freak. So it stuck by me. I love it. And it's a cool nickname.
So what is a freak? Is a freak a positive thing, Mishpachah? Somebody say you're a freak. Are they telling you something nice?
No.
Well, things have changed. Now evil is called good and good is called evil.
Exactly. Today, the roles have reversed. So what was, if you go back in one second, if you go back in our ancient days, you never see a Hebrew brother. Moses never called Joshua, that's my dog. This is my dog right here. But you see, today that's a slang that our people use. So everything is backwards. The heathens were called dogs. Now we call ourselves dogs.
Yeah.
You see how the Greek mentality has influenced us throughout the generations.
And there used to be a pushback when our men used to call the women the B word. and now the women
are gladly calling themselves that.
they're taking on that, and it's crazy, but it is what it is. Brother Zephaniah, there's something you want to say?
Yeah, you know what? That word, freak is interesting, because it's a connotation behind it that it just matters how you put out the energy in regards to that word. Because a big component of that word is free, right? So, but basically, what I was gonna say is the word quaint it's like one of those words as well, where it could mean strange, but then it could mean unique in quality. So it's just one of those that you have to do the etymology on and probably just break it down, because people like to twist things and stuff.
I read the definition.
What is a freak? A person, animal, or plant with an unusual physical abnormality.
So it's not normal. That's basically what they're calling him. He's not a normal person. This is what was said here.
So he was born in Greece, huh?
Yes.
Okay. So coming to America from Greece as a teenager was not always the smoothest transition for Milwaukee Bucks superstar
Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Okay, good.
That's his name.
All right.
Giannis
Before
Antetokounmpo.
Giannis became a household name, those who couldn't pronounce his last name often called the NBA reigning MVP the Greek freak because of his rare freakish athletic ability and ball handling skills for someone 6'11".
So he's 6'11".
6'11". Tall.
Yeah, he's a tall brother.
A giant.
When derogatory becomes the norm. So again,
would that make him a Nephilim?
I don't know.
But what I was thinking too, like description of Judah in the 12 sons back, especially when they were taking the inherited lands, like the Canaanite lands, like near Shechem and stuff. Like the way that they described how they were screaming and shrieking, someone would have been like, it's freaky, it's like freakish, like just like the word terrible, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I could see that.
Ate Tor Kun Bor
Antetokounmpo.
I was trying to get it, Brother Shay. All right, you got it. Well, you're gonna have to take that up with Brother Kin. He's giving us the breakdown over here.
Antetokounmpo.
All right, no problem.
Deuteronomy 28 and verse 37.
You shall become an astonishment, a proverb, and a byword among all nations, whither Yahweh shall lead you.
So even though you may think it's something good, Mishpachah, it's not something good. We are royalty. We're supposed to be set apart. And the heathens will name us all kinds of different things. And then we end up naming our own selves all kinds of different things, not realizing that this is the practice of Greek culture.
All right.
Now look at some of these people here. So when you think of the youth coming up today, they're idolizing, you on the top here, you have some of these people I don't even know. Victoria Monet, I don't know who that is. Drake is supposed to be some Jewish dude that's a rapper now. Jack Harlow, Lil Durk. This is from the BET or MTV Awards that's coming up or just happened, I believe. The artists. So our youths look at and idolize this type of entertainment because according to them, they've made it. You know what I'm saying? They're the rich and famous. Over here, you have the TV Oscars. They're the famous ones that the actors. So you have the musicians, you have the actors, and you have the athletes at the bottom. Tiger Woods, the Williams sister, Serena, or whatever her name is.
Tough-looking sister. Tough-looking sister.
Help me out, Mishpachah. Let's name this person. Who's this person here again?
I don't know. This is one.
The Olympic Simone. Okay, Simone. There goes Mahomes again. The boxer, I don't know who the boxer is, and there goes LeBron James. So
you got Philippians 4:13 and his.
I can do all things. So they want to go to the octagon ring and they want to do everything. Again, Greekish culture that is stuck in our people's minds and practices.
So, for some, this might be unpopular, but I believe sometimes it's better than being on the streets you know, in regards to some of their circumstances being in the diaspora, you know, because most I had some people go through certain things to learn certain skills to develop them into people who he can use later in certain ways, right? Like when Kingdom Come and all that stuff. I think in regards to some of these, like I would like now, especially when things the way things are going, you know, like I would prefer my son be playing soccer rather than being on the streets, you know, because it would give him like some sort of discipline, right? But that coupled with the word of Yahuwah, which gives everything, you know, kind of center, it would get rid of all the Greek stuff, and it kind of displays what like how we're supposed to use it anyway. Like all this stuff, Yahuwah has given us this earth to inhabit and to take control of things like this.
But let me ask
so
you this,
that people with no order,
right?
you know what I mean? It kind of that's what ruins stuff like soccer. That's what ruins things like a sport. If you imagine a child on the field just playing with a ball, it really is different than what the Greeks really truly made it. You know what I mean? Because they can make up that sport and like out of nowhere in their head. But you know what I mean, on the farm or something like that.
But okay, but what you're trying to do is take something that was designed for them and make it good for us. Again, in the culture we grew up in here, sports was part of our growing up because that's what we understood. But now that we understand who we are, we're not part of that. This is where we take ourselves out of it and our children away from it and teach our children. You used to play soccer growing up. Do you play soccer now? Do you have time for any of those things?
Honestly, I don't. But
Because wait, I'm getting to a point.
Yeah.
Because you're doing what?
No,
You're building, you're working, you're physically in shape, you're doing things, right?
Yeah.
So as a father, when you have your sons and stuff coming up, you're going to be teaching your sons to be building next to you, farming, raising stuff. You're going to have time for no soccer or those things.
Right.
This is the mindset for people in the city who are influenced by these things because they're surrounded by it.
You know, brother, I'll say this much. When we came into captivity, the type of sports that they allow us while we were on the plantation was we were human cockfighters. You know, you see the movie Django? Yeah. When they use the men to fight each other to the death sometimes to entertain in that way. That's they abused us. They use us in that way. A lot of the reasons why our people, like in what's his name that ran, was it Jesse Owens?
Jesse Owens. And
things of that nature. And Cassius Clay, which is Muhammad Ali. Mm-hmm. We did that to kind of prove that we were better than the nations that had us oppressed. Right? We did those things for that reason at that point. And because of that, most of the young people, right, looked up for that reason to try to lift themselves up.
To come out of the
And what happened is, you think that the Gentiles that we were trying to prove cared about us trying to prove anything? No. They offered us money. They offered us services, money, right, to perform. And so they just basically what they did, they returned us back to the plantation that we were trying to get off from. And the proof of trying to prove that we're better than them, that was lost. Because now so you have to understand that Satan keeps you no matter how you try to get out of the thing. The Most High doesn't want us to be involved in a lot of things that the heathen put up. He doesn't want us to be in there because you may be the best singer in church, but you're not recognized. So what? Satan offers you a deal, sing gospel records, then you it's filling your head, and all of a sudden, well, I reached number 1 on the gospel charts, Kirk Franklin, and then later on, you find yourself doing what? A whole bunch of nonsense like what Kirk is doing,
and then it comes right back around. So we can't justify
the stages of which you ascend. There's always that little area in between there that you blink, and that blink area is where Satan got you. Yep. So a lot of times you may have the money, the prestige. I'm not in the street selling drugs anymore, like the Snoop Dogs or whatever the case may be, but you're still working for the devil. If you're on the street, that's the devil playground. You make the money, you're just disciplined for the devil. And you know what? He's taking you now and making you a role model so you can get more people. What do you think if rap music was such a beautiful thing, it became gangster rap. And guess what? It produced more killers in our neighborhood. More whores.
That's the only music. We are the only people that promote murder and prostitution in our music. You don't see country talking about shooting, killing. Do you see that?
Do you see anybody talking about, I'm going to be the best carpenter so that young men can learn how to weld and be carpenters and build houses? You don't see that. Best farmers and none of that stuff. The best tailors. Let's make some good clothes. Not them sodomite foolishness. Nice suits looking good. Butchers, good butchers.
Soft and shiny.
I mean, real tradesman stuff. It's none of that stuff. It's about flexing, running out in the field.
Who's better than who's
throwing a hog around.
Again, is a spirit of competition. And this is where the Greek stuff happened, where you have the spirit of competition. So we see here on the screen, it's just a facade, or if you want to say a mirage of what the devil makes you believe. I've made it out the hood.
One last point. At what point do you stop to say, I had enough? Look at Shaq. Shaq made all the money. He's in pizza thing. He's on every ads. He's doing copy machine printers, whatever. He's in everything. Now he's DJing also. Then there was some conversation
he
about
was a police. He was a sheriff. He was all kinds of stuff. He was.
The people are miserable. They're not content. They're restless souls. The same devil that is looking for bodies. He's up and down, restless, looking for souls. That same spirit is in those people. They don't have any rest. Look at Wendy Williams. Now she's a spook. She's like,
yep.
I noticed that for, certain ones that you see that they don't have a solid base in Yahuwah, in the word, but I just keep thinking of Daniel, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, like they were with Yahuwah with them through the fire. They were able to be in these places, structurally with Yahuwah leading them, you know what I mean? Intentionally.
That's different
because they were keeping the law.
That's different because they never put themselves. They were never ambitious for those roles. Right. Joseph didn't say, "Hey, you know what? I'm gonna do this so you can come up." He didn't do that to help my people. As a matter of fact, the opposite is true. The Most High took Moses, stripped him away from all the prestige, and made him a goat, a sheep herder for 40 years, smell like sheep. And then after that, bring him back to go over and get his people out. You see, so the Most High works different. He works totally different. For you to think that, you know what, I'm gonna use this to come up so I can help my people, brother. Satan owns the industry. There's no room for the Most High in there. A lot of those people that go in there, even on the religion, I know a lot of people who went to the best Baptist private schools out, and then turn around and curse the Most High. They don't know the Most High after that. Yeah, and people who had no parents on the street, they pull themselves up and they love the Most High with all their heart, soul, and mind. So that whole idea of using the system of the devil to come up to help your people, that don't make any sense.
Yeah, let's move on.
I mean, honestly, like I wasn't thinking about like moving up. I was just thinking because certain individuals are where they are. In order to get out, there's certain things that they have to eliminate while utilizing certain areas. But Yahuwah is above. He's Elohim over the hills and valleys. Like David had to go with the Philistines for a minute to dodge what he had to with Saul and everything, you know what I mean?
That's different.
But until kingdom come, as far as managing,
that's different. But David did not attach himself to anything. He says, "I'd rather be a doorkeeper." That he detached himself from all those different things, and he always surrendered himself. That's very important. So if the Most High says, "I'm going to put you to be the cupbearer," like on Nehemiah, it's for such a time as this. You think when you read the book of Esther, in the Apocrypha, right? The pieces that they left out. She says, "Man, I hated dressed up as a queen. laying down by this heathen. I
to
had to go take that bath, man. Like I didn't want that thing. Some of our sisters will be like, I don't mind, man, having to be around the heathen and having men run. A lot of our women will have men run trains on them so they can have an opportunity to get that money, get that, they call it that bag. I want to get that bag. Some of our women don't mind being a stripper so they can get the money to go to college because it's a means to an end. Like, I got to do this so I can come up. Ain't no man gonna be running this and that and telling me controlling this money. I'm gonna do this and do that, whatever I need to get up.
Feed the children, all kinds of different things they'll do it for.
And you know what happens to a lot of women? Man, I remember one time I was doing Uber for a short period of time, just to try to do something. And I met this beautiful young sister. She was a beautiful girl, but she had one hand that was deformed. And we had a conversation. And you know where she was going? She was going for casting couch.
Interview.
She was going to an interview to be a stripper for a club. When she told me that, my heart just dropped, like boom. I said, sis, please don't do it. Sis, I will take you wherever you want to go, but please don't do it. We had a long conversation. It broke my heart, man. See this young, beautiful sister. And she's thinking, I got this deformed hand, just one hand that was deformed. Rest of her was good. She was willing to sacrifice everything because she's probably thinking, if I don't do this, who's going to appreciate me?
Because the brain, the mind
who's going to appreciate me? It broke my heart, man. I went home like, I'm done with this thing. I can't meet these people. Like, I'm done with this thing. It was done for me just to see what our people would do. She went straight to the interview. I don't know what became of her, but you know, a lot of guys will pay money to see what they call a freakish looking woman, beautiful, go up and down a pole with one arm. And you know what that does? From that point, that interview, a lot of guys will probably sleep with her, but promises that you'll become, get the money.
Yep.
Get the money. And she will have to destroy a part of her brain to tell herself, well, I'm only going to do it for a year or 6 months or for 3 months. And they will keep promising stuff. And by the time you're done and finished, they don't need you anymore.
Used goods.
Your spirit is destroyed.
Yeah, destroyed.
And then when the time comes for you to meet a respectable man who will make you a good wife, your whole inside is messed up. You got nothing to offer, brother. It's not worth it. Yes, Elder, what's on your mind?
Yeah, you know, whether you're young or old, everybody have to make a decision. Scripture says, "Love not the world, neither the things that are in the world. Any man love the world, the love of the Father is not in him." When any time a person have this thing in mind, something is wrong with you. The devil that have already penetrated you and put that in you.
There's no father and mother in their life. When I say, I'm not talking about a parent. Anybody could be a parent. I'm talking about someone who can say, daughter, you're not doing this. No. A mother that would shut the whole thing down. Ema, what's on your mind?
Shalom, brethren.
Shalom.
I was watching just a long time ago. I had one of these people just come over, something like these just come over
These talk shows.
Right?
Yeah.
And they had these young women wanted to go to sell themselves. But I had this one lady that was there, one woman that was there, was telling them don't do it. Because she was telling about her life. She made a lot of money. But after that, she had to take the same money and spend the doctors so that she could get health back again.
Yeah.
Why?
You see?
Ema, that's a terrible thing. I don't know how much money you can spend on psychiatrists to take the demons. I know the doctors and to take those demons out of you. For what reason? And then you become a role model. The bad part is when you read the book of Maccabees, it says there was an older guy, an experienced old man that they wanted him to be the role model to set the standards for the young people. If he eats it, all the young people are going to eat it. If you become the superstar, a lot of people are going to say, hey, if he can make it, I can make it too.
Yeah.
I'd rather be a failure in that area, or no pun intended, that arena. I'd rather be a failure in that arena than to be a success and lead my people astray.
That's right.
In all the age of the Israelites coming down, all this wicked thing was going on. They decided to make that sacrifice and serve the master.
Not doing it. Not doing it.
They were in Babylon.
That's right. That's right.
Pray. All the others, they do that. We
Yeah.
have all the examples.
Yeah. It's not worth it.
Why you should try to be like the heathen?
When we start looking at ourselves with value, we will be called the children of Elohim.
That's right. When
you gotta pour that into our girls, our sisters. You know, you see your little lights. They're beautiful, good spirit. You teach them trades, you teach them good things. And as men, you got to make sure that my daughter is not going to be married to no knucklehead.
That's right.
Because she is a blue ribbon daughter, high value. I don't care what people say. She is not going to be given to just any old guy. You got to come up. You got to jump over. You got to be, if you want to be, you got to jump over a lot of hoops.
Mm-hmm. Every father should have that same train of thought, because that's your investment for the future.
I was watching it on the he molested 2 sons.
That's crazy, Elder.
Yeah, the wicked people out there. All right, Mishpachah, we almost finished here. Did Samson work out at the gym? So this is something I just put this here, just to kind of stimulate thought here. According to the Bible, Samson is widely considered the strongest man ever due to his superhuman strength, which allowed him to perform feats like killing a lion with his bare hands and destroying a Philistine army with a donkey's jawbone, making him the most recognized figure of immense strength in biblical stories. They say stories, but it's in our records. And this was something, again, that the Most High has put. Everything the Most High has put there is about bringing life. Okay, it's never been about the way a person look, their physiques, who's the strongest, who's the fastest, who's better. That's the competitive spirit of these Greek people, because you don't see no competition anywhere when it comes to our people. Yes, Elder.
Yeah, Samson didn't go to the gym.
The mic.
Samson is a gift that Elohim gave him. His hair was his strength. You know, he didn't go to the gym. As long as he have his hair on him, he can destroy anything.
Absolutely. So, as Brother Shea has it outlined about the looks, right? Every time we hear about Samson and they want to put an actor, they always get the guy with the biggest body, the strongest body. When you really think about it, the Most High doesn't work like that. He doesn't work like that. He works different.
Yeah.
You might see maybe Samson was a guy maybe about 5'5", a little guy.
We don't know.
When you look at him, because you don't have any description about his veins popping out. And
I was trying to find
about the neck.
Yeah, I was trying to find a simple picture to put, and all the pictures that they have is some big dude with no shirt on. I'm like, I know he ain't look nothing like
a regular guy.
Just a regular dude, with just a little physique to him, because on him.
That's the key.
That's the key right there.
The spirit was the Most High. The spirit doesn't talk about muscles. and what do you call it? Pecs?
Pecs, yeah.
Brother Zephaniah, you going to talk about pecs? Okay, good.
Well, but I mean, pecs are part of the body, right? Which is all together as one, is like a ecosystem, like. And I
remember, don't go too deep. Verbi all said, don't go too deep. Keep it simple.
Well,
we're gonna yank the mic from him. We're gonna yank it. Pull it.
Like equity is super important in regards to the way Yehovah works. I mean, like no two apples are the same. Apple's not the same as an orange. A leaf is not the same as a tree trunk. And it's just a super important concept to understand in regards to how he really truly works. We're all unique, and individually we're supposed to have a relationship with him uniquely. That's separate from from everything, you know, and that's a super important part in regards to all this. We're not supposed to be shaping ourselves after the, you know, other people and after the customs of the heathen and the other nations and stuff like that, because we're supposed to have our unique relationship with him so that we can work in the greater part of the whole, you know.
Mm-hmm. So again, Mr. Pekai, it's not about the looks, about who's stronger. It's always been about life and how we are used towards righteousness. And like Amos says, when the Spirit of the Most High was put upon him, then he performed his task that he was called to do.
Mm-hmm.
We were always called for a purpose. Tell me if I'm wrong, Rebbe, or anyone in the chat. Anyone in the records of our Bible, have they volunteered and say, I want to do this ministry?
I don't know they always make an excuse. Moses make an excuse. I was
Jonah
stuttering.
ran away.
Jonah just took and went to a different direction. Prophet says, listen, man, I'm not a
Even
prophet.
Yeshua.
My father wasn't even,
Even Yeshua.
Let this cup pass from me.
What Moses said, I'm that elephant.
Yeah.
So I'm saying this just to say, when somebody volunteers and says, I want to do this, just check them out, okay? Because the track record of the Most High calling is him putting us in these positions to carry out certain things. You may be called just to move from point A to point B, and that's it. But people want to, okay, I was called to move from point A to point B, and now I want to do more. But he didn't call you to do more. He just called you to do from point A to point B. He'll have another person to do something else. So we don't know, Mr. Prakar. We just have to be humble in what we are called to do. This is not about looks or anything.
Yeah, Brother Jeff, you know, when you talk about David, in the mind of present day Israelite, David had muscles like Samson. David looked like this right here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's the problem with our people. We develop these mythologies, these Hebrew mythologies, because that Greek thing is so embedded in our spirit.
You see, automatically you start to see these big physique gods that they want to put. So Mishpachah, don't follow just because. You see, there's a book here or a video called The Black Athlete, and it shows you how this person from small grows up, because what they're doing is they're idolizing. Over here, you have the 50 greatest black athletes, and the way out of the neighborhood, this is what it is. See, children idolize what they see because it's an easy way out of the hood to gain money and fame.
Mm-hmm.
This is the only way out, man.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I can't get a job because I go to school. I can't do this because, first of all, they say I'm not enough. Your skin color, your credit score, all these different things. So what's the easiest way? I want to be an athlete, an actor, movie star, a singer,
a comedian.
I want to play sports. Music and sports are what's fed to our people as a means of freedom. But we are just a glorified jester.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we are in the eyes of the other nations.
Fools.
Okay? And not all of us, but a very small few who make it in that industry will come out and change. That's like maybe 1 or 2%. But you can't use that as a statistics to say it is going to work, because the majority, that 99% rest, is what's put there by the devil to keep our people in check.
And what sacrifices has to be made? Look at what's his name here? Mike.
Uh-huh.
His father was, from what we understand, his father was a sacrifice. This guy who said he was the greatest.
Yeah.
When you see him, he was like
shaking.
Right. So what type of sacrifice are you willing to make to achieve these things? Satan doesn't give you things for free. Just keep that in mind. He doesn't give you stuff for free. And the Most High doesn't give us stuff for free either. There's always a sacrifice and price that has to be paid.
Mm-hmm. Teach and train your youths. Mm-hmm. Exodus 18, verses 20.
And you shall teach them ordinances and laws, and you shall show them the way wherein they must walk and the work that they must do.
See, so this is things that a father and a mother has to instill in their children. They have to teach the children all of the ordinances and the laws. Son, daughter, this is why we do this. This is how we do this. We have to do these things because we are who we are. We can't fall after the other nation. No, you can't go and do that. No, you're not allowed to do that because of this. And you start to teach them as they're growing. You add more, you explain more, you show. And when you do these things, you are bettering the future of your own household. Proverbs 22 and verse 6 again
says, train up a child in the way he should go, and when he's old, he will not depart from it.
And this is what we're trying to teach our people. We have to come away from the Greek mentality. We have to teach our children how to build with their hands, plant stuff, agriculture, hunting, fishing, different skills like that, along with health and first aid, home economics. They don't do that no more in school. No. Business, teach your children about business, how to have a savings account, things that would benefit them. Instead, you want to take them to sports, entertainment, different things. And you have other people teaching, touching, and training your children. And before you know it, they come back Hellenized. You understand what I'm saying? So we have to be able to show our children how to build things with their hands. There's so much things you can build, learn to build. Planting, the world of planting alone, Mr. Picard, is beautiful. And there's so much angles you can go by, from the dirt to the seed, to the cultivation of the trees, to the harvesting of the fruits, to the processing of the food, to cooking it, to eating it. They all connect. And that all ties into health, because if you practice from small, like, for example, you teach a child how to plant and to dig the ground and do different things like that, they appreciate and know the beginning of where their food starts. Mm-hmm. And then when they get older, they can appreciate and say, okay, I know I can take care of my body because I don't have to go to the store to get this thing. I can actually have this and plant this and make this and understand the whole process from the beginning to the end. Now your health is even in a better state. Your mind is in a better state because you appreciate things. You're not dealing with the hustle and bustle out there. You understand the process of life. So it's a whole connection, and it goes deeper than just entertainment.
Especially if the world collapses, right? If AI and all electronics and stuff goes through some kind of a, destruction, change, right? At least people will have the ability to build up from scratch because they have the talents. They know how to weld and put together food, and food is also medicine. It's still like being a doctor. You put the right ingredients together, it'll give you the right health. Your blood flow will be good. You got the garlic running through your veins, keeping your arteries clean, or whatever the case may be. So all of these things are very important traits or trades that we need to have amongst us as a people, and not be ashamed of it. The world wants to make us into prostitutes, breathers, or whatever the case may be. Look at that guy. Was this Cat Williams? Mm-hmm. He came out in some interview and stuff and says 2024 is going to be a year of exposing a lot of stuff. And they started talking about all of Hollywood, not just Hollywood, all the so-called black entertainers,
industry, yeah.
In the whole industry, politicians, everybody is some way tainted. Just think about it.
Mm-hmm. This walk, we always say it's not easy. It's a hard walk, but that doesn't mean that you can't do it. Hard work pays off. Coming into the Shalom life is not easy, but once you start making those necessary steps, the Most High is going to put you in the position you're supposed to be in. We have to be able to separate ourselves from the mentality of how these people have been operating over us for so long, and take our families out of these systems. It's going to take some work, Mishpachah, because even sometimes I myself, I enjoy watching sports sometimes, but I don't waste my time doing it like that. Before I was in sports, I was playing football, basketball, you name it, I was in it. And I was one of the best. But that's not the calling I was called for. And the understanding that I get over the years is like, I make myself come out of it. And even still, I'm still working on things like that. So it's a process of understanding. Don't allow your children to grow up in these things. Learn to teach them the ways that we have where we can better ourselves and our future for kingdom building, because the Most High is coming soon and we have to be able to separate ourselves from these heathens.
Absolutely.
So I hope tonight we learned something about the Greek physique and how they try to use our people and influence our people to remain in, and these gyms and arenas are like prisons, basically. Okay, they give you a little bit of bread to feed you. And again, we are their jesters. We are laughed on, mocked on. Remember when even LeBron, the white woman says, just shut up and dribble. Because he was trying to so-called speak out, I guess during before the Black Lives Matter thing kicked off or whatever, when Colin Kaepernick was another football player
taking the knee
and stuff. The lady says, shut up and dribble, stay in your lane. They know exactly what they're telling you, okay? So we need to step away from the heathens' business and get into Hebrew Israelites' business, Israelite Torah culture, okay? What say you, Rebbe?
Well, I listened to everything, and I'm grateful for everyone who has put, some wisdom on the table. But one of the things that troubled me is the fact that with all the work that has been put out to educate our people and to remind our people who we are and what we need to do, we have a dysfunction among ourselves, where we just can't seem to get along. No matter how many scriptures you pile on the table, for some reason, they don't know it's like looking at a fork and don't know what it's for. Or a knife, you don't know what it's for.
Comb my hair with it.
You know what I mean? And trying to they look at the thing and they become almost retarded. Like they don't know, they can't make sense out of these things. That is the struggle. That is the main struggle. Whether you call yourself a pastor or whatever title you claim, there seemed to be a dysfunction with utilizing the words of Elohim. It breaks my heart. It really makes me sad when we see people that you spend years with in the word, and then they go back to the word and they start quoting you stuff, and they're not living a life.
That's because
they're not living a life.
That's because, like I showed in the slides, when you transition from that, you go into that philosophical spirit that the Greeks pushed, and you start to have that.
It's really sad.
Debate,
really sad.
Spirit of competition. You want to always fight.
Yeah, and competition is definitely a thing amongst our people. So hopefully you can get that spirit off of you. It may be challenging. I hope it's not. But if it is, go pray, go fast, go ask the Most High to please remove these things that have you as a prisoner, have you hostage. Zephaniah, what's on your mind, brother?
Just to encourage those people on their journeys that, like, usually just like how you can find, like poison ivy or something, the antidote is always usually near. You know what I mean? Yahweh said he's with us wherever we go. So
that's right. And
then not only that, being as the trees near the flowing rivers of water, we shed our leaves in season, and in that shedding always takes place. The same concept is in being a river itself. Whenever you leave a river and come back to the same spot, you'll never see the same waters. And if you go down that river further, the water is just going to be cleaner and cleaner. So if we just continue to go in righteousness, we'll always end up in a cleaner spot. We'll always
better Psalms 1, be like a tree planted by the rivers of water that bring forth its fruit in its season. So thank you so much. Brethren, I want to thank each and every one of you for being here tonight. We are going to continue tomorrow night. I believe you still have another class, or
we have to get with brother.
Brother have a person for tomorrow.
That's Brother Yohanan. So we have to get.
Oh, brother, your Canon has someone for tomorrow night.
So we'll see. We'll see who's
all
up for tomorrow.
Send me. Reach out to me tomorrow, brother, and we will see how we can set this thing up. If not, let's be ready for tomorrow. Okay. So we have some brothers who are preparing to also share what the Most High has placed on their heart. We want to give them an opportunity to to be effective in this walk, and hopefully they can be able to do that. Okay. All right. So just reach out to me tomorrow. Not too early in the morning, brother. Don't reach out to Israel too early in the morning, all right? But reach out to me and we'll take it from there, all right? With that said, Elder, are you ready to close up with a word of prayer?
Oh, yes.
All right.
I want to say before I pray, I really enjoy the class. Brother O'Shea and Brother Yana, the class was good. Wonderful class tonight.
Hallelujah.
All praises to the Most High. I just want to say that I want to encourage both of you all to keep the good work, and the Lord will bless you all at the end of it. All praises. Heavenly Father, we are so grateful and thankful unto you, Father, for the wonderful teaching tonight. And continue each and every time we listen to your words. It gives us the blessing, the strength, the desire to go another mile. We pray that thou may dismiss us with your loving kindness. Bless our teachers as they teach and read, and bless all of us together as we depart from here. We will not depart from you, but we'll keep loving you, work hard to serve our life and teach our children. So we will have some good things going on at the end, that at the end of this life, we'll have a place in your kingdom. It is the prayer of our hearts, we pray. In Yeshua's name, amen.
Amen. With the words of our mouth, meditation of our hearts, be acceptable in your sight. Oh, yeah, strength and Redeemer. Love you all. Stay strong, stay sharp. Till tomorrow night, we say shalom.
Lights burning.
Hallelujah.